City.
Actually, that's spot on.
It is spot on.
All the competition that try to compete.
Everything is spot on.
It is the new wave of sports that is sweeping the nation, where we're not just accurate, but we are spot on. This is Spot On Sports. We thank you guys for tuning in to the Esports Masterclass. I'm your host, Tony Monk, joined by the best in the business here. That is Bruce Taylor. If your money is right, take it to his house.
Come on
That's what
now.
you gotta do. Dez Ewer from ESPN joins us as well as Jermaine Mathis, my guy. He is on with us today as well. Guys, we appreciate all of you for jumping on this show. This is our NFL Division Series. We will start with the AFC West: Kansas City Chiefs, LA Raiders, LA Chargers, and the Denver Broncos. Based off everything that's happened post NFL draft, key additions that's happened. Dez, I'll start with you, man. How are you feeling about this AFC West division? Is it wide open? Is it still the Chiefs for the taking? How do you think this division will turn out once the season starts?
I think it's a funny situation because this is still Kansas City Chiefs Nation. This is still their division. Super Bowl champs. They're going to be going for number 2. Attempted to go for number 2. Andy Reid is known for going back to at least the championship games, the conference championship games. So expect to see the Chiefs doing the same thing they were doing last year. But don't sleep on them Broncos. They're trying to be the copycat team. Brought in a bunch of weapons, added a bunch of pieces around Drew Lock. I'm not saying I believe in Drew Lock, but they seem to believe in Drew Lock. So we're going to see what they do with it. But as of right now, that's still the Chiefs' kingdom, man.
Who else like to take a shot at it? Bruce, go for it.
I would have to say, if I had to say anybody, I like the Chiefs again, man. Of course, Patrick, my homeboy, Andy Reid, and the squad, man. I like them to return and return as champions. Hard.
Jermaine, how you fancy?
I gotta go with the squad. They added some solid pieces. You had a solid backup running back, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, possibly can be a starter every down back. And, it's the Chiefs' division to lose, to be honest, but I agree with Dez. Don't sleep on the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, right. The Broncos.
Melvin Gordon is out for blood,
Is he?
and they went go add AJ Aboye, so they trying to add some pieces, and they got some weapons. They got some great receivers in the draft. I think they'll be a surprise number 2.
Well, I like the Denver Broncos situation. I think I want to turn some attention to what John Gruden is doing with the Raiders. Okay. And when I say that, obviously they selected Henry Ruggs with the 12th pick in the draft, giving another receiving option for Derek Carr. And we know how the scale is with him. We know how things kind of go with him. Sometimes he's up, sometimes he's down. You don't really know what you're going to get out of Derek Carr on Sundays. But I just kind of like the team that John Gruden is actually building, because we got to look at it. This guy has about some 10-year contract, correct me if I'm wrong, and it's going to take time for him to wash out that old team that was there. Remember, at one point, the Raiders were one of the oldest teams in the league. He cleans those guys out, replaces them with young guys. Obviously, Josh Jacobs and the good running back that he's been. Again, adding Henry Ruggs. And now, Dez, of course, you was part of the draft show. It was a little skeptical about them snatching Damon Arnett out of Ohio State so early in the draft. But they answered the cornerback position. When I look at what John Gruden is doing, I don't think that we may not be giving him enough credit, because the Raiders have slowly gotten better each season. They haven't regressed. Let's be honest about it. They haven't regressed at all. So, again, it is the Chiefs. Obviously, Andy Reid, Pat Mahomes. We can speak a million times over about Tyreek Hill and of course, getting Edwards-Helaire and the job that they've been doing. But I just kind of think that there needs to be more attention turned to what the Raiders are doing. And obviously, the Denver Broncos, they go get Jerry Jeudy. But Drew Lock, second year, is he going to hit the wall? Or is he going to take the lead? So I think it's still enough too many questions around the Denver Broncos and what they can do. I think that we may need to look out for the LA Raiders to even be a team close enough to challenge in the Kansas City Chiefs.
So I think the Raiders situation is interesting because you talk about John Gruden, they haven't regressed. Can't really rush to say they got a lot better either. And my thing with John Gruden has this resume about being a Super Bowl winning coach and yada, yada, yada. But when I think John Gruden, I think about the person that took over a team that wasn't his and Tony Dungy, that was built up, that was going to win a Super Bowl no matter what. And then he beat a team whose offense he created. So it's like, I don't want to sit here and tell how great he is building teams and I get that, but this is his chance to prove that he can actually build a Super Bowl team. This is his chance to prove it. And I like what he did with Henry Ruggs. I see he's trying to add offense. And then they also added another receiver in the third round as well. So see what he's doing there. But like you said, going to draft that cornerback, that was a big leap. There was better cornerbacks on the market. You get arguably the slowest one on the 40, although we know field speed is completely different than the 40. We get that. But at the end of the day, he was the slowest one on the 40. Give it to that. And he could have waited for this guy. He rushed to get this DB. And I don't know. Besides the Ruggs piece, I didn't see anything that stood out to me from the draft that the Raiders did. So I know a lot of Raiders fans are up in the air about it, and I like what they're doing. I'm not a fan of it, but hey, luckily I'm not a Raiders fan. I don't have to worry about it.
Well, I think it's easy to be, I think it's easy to be overshadowed by the work that the Chiefs did. And we know that it just seemed like yesterday that the Denver Broncos was actually a really good team. But considering that what John Gruden was up against and what he has done, I know that we spent a lot of time, especially in the past, 2 off seasons already, kind of poking fun at John Gruden, laughing at kind of what he's doing. But slowly but surely, he's getting the pieces together. And every time in the draft, you have to hit on every piece as long as you hit on the piece that you need it the most. And for them, that is Henry Ruggs. Is Henry Ruggs going to actually make the jump and be the guy? We don't know. We actually had a little small argument and debate about him being the first receiver off the board when you had CeeDee Lamb, when you had Jerry Jeudy, both available for you to take at 12, and you chose Henry Ruggs. So we're talking about scheme fit at this point. But I do want to ask, I want to get into a little bit of the LA Chargers. I don't want to leave them out. And obviously they have Tyrod Taylor as that quarterback. There is still a question about whether they should probably bring in Cam Newton or something. What are we looking at the LA Chargers this year? Will they regress after Phillip Rivers leaving, or will they kind of remain around the same?
I think they're going to regress. Only bright side that I see for the Chargers really is Derwin James' return. I mean, other than that, I don't know what the Charger fans really have to look forward to. I mean, you have a brand new quarterback with Justin Herbert. You're not sure what he's going to do. He's going to come out there and try to give your offense a spark, but you lose Melvin Gordon, even though you do have
Austin Eckler.
Right. Thank you. So,
and you got Justin Jackson too, limited, but he could help out a little bit too.
Right, he got some weapons, but we still don't know exactly what he's gonna do. And there was a lot of questions around him, around draft time. So he really has to go out there and prove himself. But like I said, I'm not a Chargers fan, but the most bright spot to me is Derwin James' return. At least he got some leadership on the team somewhere, that somebody who can rally the guys and at least try to push them to win every week, at least compete hard.
Bruce, did we imagine the LA Chargers? Obviously, with the schedule they got, they in their division, they kind of have the weakest schedule. So they have opportunity to be able to catch up with the rest of their counterparts in this division. Record-wise, where do we see the LA Chargers being?
I said I like the LA Chargers to be right there competitively with record-wise. I can see them being 10-6 or 11-5. Now I know guys are saying that Phillip Rivers, a longtime Charger, is gone, but I like the coaching. And Coach Lynn. I love the defense with Derwin James and Bosa leading the defense in the front end and the back end. And you still have guys like Austin Eckler there. You still have guys like Keenan Allen there. And I like the offense and the way it's ran. Run first, play action off of it. So, and don't sleep on the Chargers. Like I said, they have a defense. So I think the Chargers can actually be 9-7, 10-6, and be very, very competitive. You know how the AFC West is, man. One Thursday night game, somebody plays bad. One Sunday that somebody's not watching at 3:30, the Raiders go off. You know how it goes, but I like the Chargers actually to be very competitive. Be the new team maybe in LA going into this new decade.
Going halfway into the season, and Des, I'll let you take a shot at this. When we look at the LA Chargers and their quarterback situation, again, obviously Tyrod is the starter with Justin Herbert being the rookie backup. Does Tyrod carry this team into the season, or is another one of the same situations he ran into with the Cleveland Browns where he gets unseated for Baker Mayfield, or do we expect Justin Herbert to come in at some point?
Well, I think it all depends on the defense, honestly, because if the defense can get Tyrod the chances, Tyrod has proved that he can win. Now, when it comes to like the Buffalo situation, they just didn't want him.
No, they want
but they kicked him out, but he was winning. He was doing what he had to do with no weapons, basically, except for LaShawn McCoy. Then you see you go to the Browns where, okay, well, we want Baker to start, and then you see Baker can't produce because his coach was trash. So it's never been Tyrod's per se fault that he hasn't been a winner or loser. So I think it just becomes, do they want to rush to put Herbert in, or do they trust Tyrod to do it? Because I think if you give Tyrod weapons, which he has in Keenan Allen, he does have Austin Eckler to help the run game. They have Hunter Henry. It's not like he doesn't have weapons. If you actually allow him to take over a team and trust him to run it, now Herbert can sit back and learn for a year, and you probably have a good playoff run. But, based off the history, for whatever reason with the head coaches, if Tyrod has one bad game, here comes the rook. So I don't have a definite answer just because just the history shows that even when he produces, they find a way to bench him. But, in the perfect world, Tyrod takes his team.
Question I'm gonna throw out there for everybody. Obviously it will be pretty obvious with me asking this, and I don't want to get too far outside of the AFC West. Is there a team in the AFC that would be able to challenge the Kansas City Chiefs?
How about Baltimore? They added J.K. Dobbins, which would be a great dual threat to add with Mark Ingram. They said Hollywood Brown had a foot plate or something in his foot last season. They said he can barely walk, so now he's trying to add on more pounds, projected to be 175 pounds throughout the season. Baltimore is just a hard-fighting team all over. They didn't really lose too many key players. They got pretty much everybody that they had, and they brought in some pretty decent rookies. They got a wide receiver who a lot of people slept on from SMU.
Roche, I love him.
Roche, he's really, really good. So I think they can put up a fight. They wasn't too far off, if you ask me. They just got to stay a little more consistent.
Gotcha.
I think when you look at Baltimore, you look at a team that added defense, like you said, they didn't lose much, and then they added with the Patrick Queen. I just want them to, and I like the J.K. Dobbins because what they lost in the playoffs was Mark Ingram was hurt. Even though he was on the field, he was hurt, and everybody knew it. So they just put everything on Lamar. So I like to add J.K. Dobbins. So I say you got to go out and go get a receiver, though. I know they drafted one, Hollywood, who's young and very good, but I need somebody who can give me that third down catch. Even if it's just a drop and catch and drop type situation. I need somebody to do that, a veteran who can come in, help out Lamar, help out the receivers room. I think if they add one receiver, maybe even two, whatever, to help out and get some of that pressure off of Hollywood, and because Lamar was throwing darts against Tennessee. And they had to have about 5-6 drops. Again, I'm going off the top of my head. I don't know, for a fact.
They had a lot of drops
in that game where Lamar's like, bro, I guess I'll just be the running back too all day today. You know what I mean? So go get somebody to help out the receiving end. If they do that and the defense shows up like it did last year, Lamar's gonna do what Lamar does. And they added a guard. So Lamar has help on the O-line now too. So if they do that, you can see them maybe get into that AFC Championship game and see what the Chiefs are talking about.
Bruce, do you see anybody challenging the Kansas City Chiefs?
I say the Texans. I think Deshaun, even though I don't like the move with D-Hop being traded to the Arizona Cardinals, I like the Texans in their roster. But a real fight, AFC, I don't know, bro. Cause Brady gone. I don't wanna lie. That's hard.
Sound like
bro.
the Chiefs, yeah, Chiefs keynote.
You got the Titans. You got the Titans. Let me quit playing. Oh, you got the Bills. Let me quit playing. We got some people.
It's a big question mark on Pittsburgh right now.
And see, I want to bring up Mike Tomlin and boys, but you just don't know.
What they
You just don't know. He made something out of nothing with that team last year, but
if the Jaguars can get off to a good start and be confident, maybe Minshew and those boys can do something as well. Maybe.
I like Gardner Minshew his chances this year, and of course we'll hit on his division and what the Jags and the Colts and those teams may do. Guys, this is our AFC West NFL division, part of the NFL division series that we are doing. We thank Des Mule for being a part of what we were doing. Bruce Taylor, Jermaine Mathis. This is Spot On Sports. Be sure to click the notification bell on our YouTube channel. Get notified for everything that we are doing. It is a new wave of sports that is sweeping the nation where we're not just accurate, but we are spot on. This is Spot On Sports, and we'll see you guys next time.
We thank you guys for tuning in to this week's episode. Be sure to check out more shows here on this YouTube page, such as SOS Discussions or My Point Exactly. And most of all,
Keep watching Spot on Sports.
it's a new wave of sports that's sweeping the nation. We're not just accurate, it's spot on.